Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday. I have my little pumpkin pie here. You see little pumpkin pie? Who's that? Don't know what she's looking at. Oh, pumpkin pie. That's you. Yes. Beautiful pumpkin pie. I've been cuddling the kittens all morning. Kind of really trying my best to get on here today. But let's do it. Let's do a short reading. This is going to be part 9 of Genesis. We previously discussed Jacob's journey from Laban's family with his 2 wives back to where Esau is from, or really his family as well. Isaac and Abraham's family, right? Everyone's kind of spread out at this point, but going back to where he grew up. Let's read a quote. It's a little bit obscure. I'm not sure how we can quite relate to this reading, but we're going to try our best. Blessed Cecilia appears in visions to all musicians. Appear and inspire. Translated daughter, come down and startle composing mortals with a mortal fire. O dear white children, casual as birds, playing among the ruined languages, so small beside their large confusing words, so gay against their greater silences of dreadful things you did. Weep for the lives your wishes never led. This is an anthem for St. Cecilia's Day, dedicated to Benjamin Britten and set up to music by Britten as a hymn to St. Cecilia. This is from 1942, during the life of W.H. Audin. So we're going to read more about Audin. She kind of has like a dark twist to a lot of what her writing, or his writing, I'm honestly not sure, what a lot of the writing that is written by them. But yeah, this one, I guess what stuck out to me, we're going to learn about a immortal human appearing to Jacob, as we're talking about here. How Blessed Cecilia would appear to people, and mortal people, right? And her spirit is eternally immortal, composing mortals with a mortal fire. So we're going to learn about an apparition today in this short story, and we'll see what we make of it. Okay, so where we left off, yes, Jacob is traveling back to his land where Esau is, and he's quite anxiety-ridden. He's stressed to see Esau again because he literally stole his blessing and left. They kind of left on bad terms. So he's nervous to see him again. He's wondering what the outcome will be. Let's begin with chapter 32. In fear and distress, Jacob divided the people who were with him into 2 groups, and the flocks and herds and camels as well. He thought, if Esau comes and attacks one group, the group that is left may escape. He instructed the one in the lead, when my brother Esau meets you and asks, who do you belong to and where are you going, and who owns all these animals in front of you? Then you are to say, they belong to your servant Jacob. They are a gift sent to my lord Esau, and he is coming behind us. So if you guys remember from when we talked about this, doing the other biblical readings, there was a message of forgiveness, and Esau embraced Jacob. I don't think I put too many of those details in here this time because we talked about it before, but at least you understand the context that Jacob had no reason to be scared, and Esau was oft forgiving, which is a good thing. Anyways, he's making his journey, he's plotting. There was this river or something, like a valley, something that they had to cross. So Jacob had all of the people in front of him go first, obviously, and then he was actually left alone on the other side when night fell. And so he stayed, instead of, trying to traverse during the night, he stayed on the other side of the ravine or whatever it was that he was crossing. So this is that part here. So Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him till daybreak. When the man saw that he cannot overpower him, he touched the socket of Jacob's hip, so that his hip was wrenched, and as he wrestled the man, so his hip was wrenched as he wrestled the man. The man said, "Let me go, for it is daybreak." But Jacob replied, I will not let you go unless you bless me. The man asked him, What is your name? Jacob answered, and the man said, Jacob, he answered. And the man said, Your name will no longer be Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled with God and with humans, and you have overcome. But Jacob said, Please tell me your name. But he replied, Why do you ask my name? Then he blessed him there. So Jacob called the place Peniel, saying, It is because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared. So this is interesting. That is almost never mentioned. Like when I read it, I was a little bit confused. Like, where did this man come from, and why are they wrestling? Why were they wrestling? Especially if it was God, right? Why is he wrestling Jacob? I don't know. He might just be a playful God, right? And I could attest to that. So yes. He's wrestling him, and it's this mysterious man that kind of came out of nowhere, and I guess testing Jacob's strength in a way, and Jacob technically overpowered him. It's just a weird story, to be honest, but this is the Bible for you. And he wouldn't tell him his name, blah, blah, blah. We literally just read this and talked about it. But Jacob remembers, and he recorded this, and he told the story to everybody. He's like, I saw God face to face. And sometimes I was talking about this yesterday in a personal conversation. God can appear to people. Like Paul had said, no one's seen the face of God besides the Son. Jesus has said, when he was around, no one's seen the face of God besides, him himself or members of the kingdom. But there are many, many tales and stories about actually people claiming to see God. And maybe it's not, how he would normally appear. He comes in mysterious ways. And I think it's more of a feeling more than just like knowing for sure, right? You have just like a sense, right? And this is what Jacob had presumed. He's like, I saw God face to face. That's just what it felt like. So it's an interesting little excerpt and narrative in this part. But hey, it's something that is important and something that we needed to go over. Lastly here, from chapter 33, he finally meets Esau. Jacob looked up, and there was Esau, coming with his 400 men. So he divided the children among Leah, Rachel, and the 2 female servants. Next, Leah and her children came and bowed down. Last, all came Joseph and Rachel, and they too bowed down. So this was the moment of humility, right? Jacob came down and was very humble. Esau saw his humility and forgave him on the spot and hugged him, and they kind of just reunited for a brief time. I think they reunited for just a few, and celebrated briefly and had a little talk. But at the end of it says here, ending chapter 33, Jacob, however, went to Succoth, where he built a place for himself and made shelters for his livestock. That is why the place is called Succoth. So Jacob ended up going kind of on his own way. I mean, they weren't far from each other, but he still decided, it's best to just establish someplace else, because each of them have amassed great wealth and belongings. They each had a lot of children, which we'll learn about. Each had a lot of children, a lot of livestock, a lot of just belongings in general. So it was best that they didn't, feed off of the same land, purely just for the livestock purposes, because they both had amassed a lot. So we learned about Jacob and Esau. We're going to talk more about Esau and Jacob and see where their lineages go. But both of them, very well off, have amassed a lot of success, and not without difficulty. So we wonder why that story is put in there with Jacob wrestling with the man. The man had told him, he's like, you have had a lot of challenges with both God and man. And you're overpowering them. You're overcoming these challenges. So I think that's kind of what that represents. Jacob was kind of struggling, kind of involved in some kind of slave labor with Laban. And Esau was going through his own things, which we don't really know too much about, but I'm sure it was a challenge. And we'll learn more about Esau's lineage, like I have said. But yeah, that's it. My baby kitten is up off the lap, and I think it is time for us to have a shrimp brunch. We're going to eat just shrimp cocktail because that is one of my favorite foods. So the kittens love the shrimp too. I just cut them up very small and they feast on that. So enjoy your day. Happy Saturday. Stay warm. I'm down here in the south, but it is cold here. I am chilly. Even though the window's open, it feels kind of good. It's still cold out. So I won't be going anywhere. But enjoy. Have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye bye.